If there is one thing you can be sure about Daniel Tiger, it's that this character can be very sinister and mean. Could the main character of the cartoon be a spoiled little boy? Birthday. One of Daniel's most shocking moments was the day he tried to ruin his own sister's birthday. It was Margaret's special day. Everything was about her. The gifts, the food, the party decorations, everything was supposed to be done to please Margaret and her friends. But Daniel doesn't really agree with that. He gets irritated because all of his friends bought presents for his sister, and he also doesn't like that his grandfather is giving attention to Margaret, even though Grandpa Tiger is also her grandfather. And he doesn't like that his sister's cake has strawberries instead of blueberries. Not to mention that Daniel also gets irritated because the decorations are yellow, Margaret's favorite color, instead of red, which is the color Daniel likes the most. Honestly, our main character can be a very mean little tiger, can't he? And if you want to see more moments like this, you already know, right? Another Cinewave is starting!
Yeah!
Fight. And one of the days when Daniel crossed the line the most, leaving everyone completely shocked, was when he tried to hit Elena just because the girl sat in the same spot he wanted. Everything started a little earlier that day when Daniel was in teacher Harriet's class. Daniel really wanted to get closer to Chrissy, who is a girl that might really catch our protagonist's attention, but Chrissy only wanted to play with Elena, which is totally fair because the girls get along and can play together. Daniel gets irritated because he tries to sit next to Chrissy, but Elena gets there first and the protagonist gets mad. Daniel tries to push the girl, and when she wins the dispute, the protagonist gets so angry that he tries to hit her, and the only reason he doesn't is because the teacher stops him from hurting his friend. This is proof that Daniel can be a violent kid, and we're going to talk a lot more about this in a moment. Could it be because he's a tiger? Lemonade. When it's hot, do you like drinking a nice, refreshing lemonade? Daniel likes helping people in the heat so much that he ends up annoying his best friend because of it. It all started on a very hot day when the people in Daniel's town were walking around the park, and our protagonist has a brilliant idea. He's going to make super refreshing lemonade to help people deal with the heat. Prince Wednesday is going to help Daniel serve the juice they prepared. And let's be fair here, the protagonist had a wonderful idea wanting to help people that day. That part is absolutely true, but it's also true that Daniel doesn't pay attention to some very important details, and in that episode, something really annoying happens. Daniel doesn't let his prince friend serve the people. He cuts in front of him without realizing that Wednesday also wanted to help, and everything gets worse when the prince's mother, Queen Sarah, wants to drink some lemonade, and Daniel doesn't let the queen's son serve his own mother. The prince shows the little tiger that he is angry, and in the end, everything turns out fine between the friends. But this shows how Daniel can be a character who manages to disrupt even his friends' lives. And that's very sad, don't you think? Aggression. One of the episodes that left fans the most shocked was what happened on the day Daniel tried to attack his own sister. We mentioned that Daniel once tried to hit Elena, a girl who is his size, which is already wrong, but in Margaret's case, it's even worse. Margaret is a newborn. She is even younger than George, Peppa's brother. In the world of Daniel Tiger, one of the most shocking episodes is when Daniel is building a fence for his toys, and the little tiger Margaret wants to play with her brother. Let's remember that she is very small and doesn't understand many things, but Daniel forgets that when his little sister breaks part of the fence he built. Daniel gets so angry that he runs toward his sister and raises his hand to punch the little tiger cub, and that is extremely shocking. Luckily, their mother was there to stop it from happening. Do you remember when Daniel almost hurt his own sister over something completely unimportant? Would you like to be Daniel's brother or sister? Comment the hashtag Daniel so we can get to know you. Speaking of unimportant things, do you remember the day Daniel fought with Margaret and made her cry because he didn't want to share his toy with her? Daniel has a favorite toy called Tigo, a small blue plush tiger, and Margaret wants that toy. Let's remember once again that Margaret is a little tiger who doesn't understand many things yet. Daniel got angry because his sister was playing with Tigo and decided to yell at her and even pull the toy out of her hands. Once again, it was their mother who stopped the fight, but this is proof of how Daniel can be a mean brother. He could be more mature and understand that his sister just wanted to have fun with Tigo, but instead he scared the little one. And maybe you might say, it's Daniel's favorite toy and Margaret shouldn't have taken it. That's fair, that makes sense, but violence is not how you solve things. Trolley Daniel may be a little tiger who learns a lot in every episode, and that's why most of the time he's a great main character for a cartoon, but he's also a character who can be very self selfish. Selfish is when a person only thinks about what they want and not about what other people need, and that is very wrong. We saw this in the trolley episode when Daniel wanted to ride the town trolley, but it was time for Margaret to sleep. Mom Tiger tried to explain that it was Margaret's nap time and that because of that, they couldn't take the trolley. But do you think Daniel wanted to accept that? Of course not. He roared like an angry tiger, stomped his foot on the ground, and even sat down upset in front of the house. Even after his mother explained that riding the trolley would be bad for his younger sister's sleep, Daniel stayed angry. That's not what an older brother should do. He should understand that Margaret needs more care because she is younger and weaker. Let's remember that Daniel always learns what the right thing is, but the show makes it very clear that the little tiger can be very mean when he wants to be. Beach. How about having a beach inside your house? You grab several buckets of sand and start spreading them around the living room to create a beach. Can you imagine your mom getting really angry about that because it dirties the inside of the house? But Daniel didn't pay attention to that detail and decided to create a beach inside the house, leaving his mom very angry. And maybe you're wondering why he did that. The truth is that Daniel was traveling to the beach with Prince Wednesday, but that day he couldn't enjoy the ocean because it was raining a lot. The result was that Daniel had the not-so-brilliant idea of grabbing several buckets of sand and dirtying the house. This made Mom Tiger very angry, and rightly so, because the house was completely dirty. And this is proof of how Daniel can be a difficult kid. He knew very well that he couldn't go outside. He could have played with anything else while it was raining, but instead of that, he dirtied the entire house, and that is terrible. Would you like to visit Daniel's beach?
Yes!
Anger. Still talking about the beach, we have an episode that is truly shocking. The day Daniel was having fun building sandcastles next to Elena. That day, the two of them built a really cool castle, but it was destroyed because a wave knocked everything down. Up to that point, that's fine. When you build sandcastles near the water, that's what happens. All Daniel and Elena needed to do was build a new castle farther away, but Daniel, instead of understanding his own mistake, he got angry and started roaring like an angry tiger. We understand that it took effort to build that castle, but this reaction was proof that the protagonist loses his patience very easily, and for a tiger, that is very dangerous, don't you think? There's a new video here every day, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay up to date. Drawing. Do you remember the day Daniel tore up Elena's drawing after she took too long to hand over the red paint they were sharing? That really happened and shows how mean our protagonist can be. Elena was painting with the red paint, and Daniel also wanted to use it, but the girl was taking too long. Up to that point, that's understandable because the girl could have been faster since they were sharing. But everything changed when Elena accidentally spilled paint on Daniel's drawing, and to get revenge, the tiger tore up her drawing. That was really ugly, don't you think? Jealousy. Daniel can also be a kid who feels a lot of jealousy toward his grandfather. This happened on Margaret's birthday, as we already explained, but he also got angry at Katerina. In a very important episode, when Grandpa Tiger was showing his past in a photo album to Daniel and Katerina, he was explaining that he had once been the pilot of several airplanes. But Daniel didn't like it at all that his grandfather was giving attention to Katerina, and because of that, he almost interrupted their conversation. This left fans very shocked, but thankfully Daniel understood that Grandpa would never stop being his grandfather, and that is a lesson the protagonist needed to learn. Lie. Another thing that shocked fans happened in the Daniel Tiger movie, when he behaved well the entire time. You've seen today that this character has many flaws, but he behaved so well that at no point did we see the protagonist roar or get angry. Was he lying? Or maybe Daniel was just showing that he had matured? What do you think about that? We think it's time for you to keep watching here on our channel. We've left 2 videos on your screen so you can choose and keep having fun with us. See you in the next video.